on that situation, had 13 states change the law on sexual abuse, giving a woman time to realize what happened to her and come out with it. Not like it used to be 2 years, and if you didn't do anything, it was just forgotten. So there's a lot of things by people taking an incentive, and nobody's taking much of incentives to do the right things anymore. Being pushed and shoved, you do. Well, I had a court case going on with myself even, saying I got hurt on a UFO when I worked for the phone company. It was on for 2 years. My lawyer had to resign. They gave me a new lawyer, and he wanted $10,000 right from the start, which I didn't have. So I had to end my case. But the phone company was trying to say I got hurt on a UFO. I did a TV show, and I was on a UFO show, and things like that, but I never said it. And they tried to say I got hurt on a UFO. But the phone company, which has the best lawyers in the world, well, I should say the United States, to come out and say that. And that was part of their case. They showed the video of me on this show for an hour. They made me talk about Native people, saying that they all do drugs. I mean, it was a horrible thing. And the judge called me in and said, I want to see pictures of your UFOs and stuff. And actually talked to me about seeing UFOs after the court case was over. I mean, when I was getting ready to leave the court. And then all of a sudden, my lawyer retires, and then I'm getting a new lawyer, and he said, you won't win the case. It's a strange world. It's a strange place. But getting back to all these things, I know people in different religions have their beliefs about forgiveness and thinking they can do things and get away with it. But the truth is, whether people want to open their ears and let something go into their brain or not, you're responsible for your karma. Whatever you create, you're responsible for. You have children, you're responsible for them. You get married, you're responsible for your wife or husband. You get responsibilities by what you create. They're not taken away. And then what you do with those things creates more karma, usually good, if you're a good person, hopefully. But in general, we balance it out and create more negative karma than positive karma. Bad thoughts, bad words, bad thinking, all those little things affect the way your karma is going to be coming out in a period of time. So when we talk about changing world, we should be changing for the better. We had the ability, we have the things, we could do almost anything. And what do we decide to do? Destroy the planet. Fracking is going on pretty much everywhere in the United States, in Puerto Rico, and Alaska. If you don't think it's affecting things, just look at the earthquake chart. I followed the earthquake chart for, I'm not 100 years old. I'm not going to say that. But I followed it since 1900 to the present. The earthquake chart has quadrupled for a word from the time it was in the 1900s to what it is now. If you draw a rectangle and go from the bottom left corner to the upper right corner and draw a line, we are moving up that fast in quantity, quality, and strength. Well, I'll get into the HARP in a second because that is one of the serious problems as well. But the earthquake chart, as of today, is incredibly ridiculous. We have an average, and I mean over the past year, we have an average of, I would say, minimum 3 to the max about 8 or 9 earthquakes over 5.0 in one day. Considering, go back in time, we had one maybe once a month. But the past year they escalated, where they fracture, which is in twice two places in the United States and Puerto Rico. They have earthquakes every day, every single day, and it's like if people are that ignorant and can't see the relationship to both. Now Alaska it's kind of hush up there. I mean, what they do up there, and then we got the Antarctica now. What are they doing there? Very few people have a clue. Very few people will talk about it. But it's a lot of things going on there. And that's one other major problem. Because when water melts, it displaces. And what I just found out through the newest research, the ice is melting under the water, pushing it up. So the water level's going to change, and it is changing. But little things like what's going to happen in the next week and a week and a half affects all this together. Now, I'm going to try not to go back and forth too much, but let's go there for a second. We got two major events happening, one on the 27th and one on the 30th. Both of them interfere and affect the planet basically the same way, one probably a lot more than the other. And the one is called lunar eclipse, which is on the 27th. Depending where you are, you might be able to see it. In parts of the United States, we'll be able to see all of it. Depending on the West Coast, I mean, I don't know how it's going to be, because we can probably see most of it. Because I was looking at where the moon is already today and how it's going to meet with the sun and everything else. But something different about the blue moon, red moon, it's going to be orange colored, will be for a long time. Sometimes it's only like 5 minutes from start to finish. You could watch it. You could just stand there and watch it, the moon or the sun going across, and it gets blocked out, and that's it. Well, this is going to go on for 100 minutes. It's a little over an hour and a half. So, if you don't think that can cause major problems to a magnetic field, you realize the moon creates our tides greatly. Harvest moon makes the water level rise to the max on a standard cycle. And I saw that many times on the Hudson River down by the end of New York City, where they have this wall, and the tide comes really close to the top on a harvest moon. And if it went 6 inches more, it would have went over the wall. I'm not lying about that. Well, I know a person that's trying to go out of his way. I don't know if he got the telescope or not, spending $1,000. I got a pair of binoculars that'll probably be great, except they're so heavy. I'm trying to sell them. I got something wrong with my hand, my arm. I guess I probably have carpal tunnel. So trying to hold these binoculars, I mean, they're 20 by 80, but when you look at something, it's outrageous. But trying to hold it, I had a stand. It's just a little too wobbly. I use it to try to spot things, and when you try to move, it's just so hard to try to line it up and all that. So I'm just trying to get rid of them. But yes, you can have a great photography session going on when this happens. You'll have plenty of time to do it. My binoculars, they're not military, but they're really good for kind of watching things in the distance. They're not really good for close-up because they got really wide barrels on each end of them, but they're a foot long. So you're holding this big thing in your hand when you're looking through them. They're brand new. I used them twice. I went out to try to use it down by the ocean. My arm, I couldn't even hold it up. My thumb, so much pain. So yeah, they're just too good to leave them sitting there in a case. So I'm gonna get rid of them. Try to sell them. I put them on let go. But here's the thing. That's going to affect the planet greatly. At the same time, from that point on, we have all these planets are on one side of the sun, and they're kind of in an alignment. It's not the straight alignment, but they're all together, which means it's a stronger magnetic field. But here's the problem with all that. By the 30th, Mars will be the closest to the planet in the past 15 years. Along with these other planets, the magnetic field will be intense. Now, Mars has an opposite magnetic field. So when it comes towards the planet, it'll be pushing on the planet. And then as it's even with us, it'll be like, I don't know if you ever take metal filings and put them over two magnets. You can actually see the effect of it. And then pull it away. Do it. And you'll see what can happen. And that's how magnetic fields work. You need two magnets and a bunch of iron filings. If you just take a piece of metal and take a file and file pieces it until it's like a powder. And you put your two magnets pretty far apart, and you sprinkle the dust there, and then you start sliding them together. Watch the magnetic fields. And then put them together. And then pull them apart. And you'll see what's going to happen. So then you got the combination of the moon, which already affects the tides greatly. So it could be anything could happen over those days. I told the person in town, I think there's going to be a giant earthquake, if nothing else. Sure, there'll probably be tsunamis and everything else. A friend of mine told me that Katrina, when it happened, was the last time that Mars was next to us. So I look at it, the 29th, 26th, the 27th is when the moon goes in, 28th, 29th. Those couple of days, watch the planet. I don't care where you are, just watch the news. See if we don't see super tornadoes, hurricanes. The ocean levels will change. Now, something most people don't talk about. Oh, you can have everything, you can heal this, and you can do that. But we're 76% water inside our bodies. Water is affected by the fields. I mean, if ocean water is affected by it, why shouldn't your water be affected by it? So right now in Hawaii, all I hear is people are upset, going crazy, can't deal with things, flipping out, and all these words. Just check around where you are. Watch people. Talk to people. How are your friends? Do you know anybody that's really going kind of weird? You're going to hear it. It's just like, and it's kind of funny. When I was working in Jersey City, I worked in police departments, in policemen's houses, and religious people's houses, rabbis, priests, ministers, you name it. But in the hospital, they would always say, the full moon, the worst crimes happen. Seriously. People are more intense to commit suicide, go out and rob somebody, and do those kind of things, abuse and all those words fit into those energy fields that affect the body. And you think the government's going to say, well, Wednesdays we all should take a pill, or anything even close to that, where they're trying to give all these children all these meds for their slowing them down and keeping them from thinking. We're in a sad place. So the changes that are coming pretty rapidly. So do you think we're going to go somewhere? Do you have a place to go if something dramatic happens? Well, hopefully you listen to yourself. I've put this up a couple times already. Listen to your heart. If it says go shopping, go take a vacation somewhere, do it. It'll probably put you in the right place at the right time. All I can say, my first marriage, we went to the islands for vacation. And a tornado came down the block where we were living. I mean, we were living with her mother and everybody else. It was pretty messed up. But the tornado came right down the block, ripped the lines off the house and all kinds of stuff. All the flights at the hotel where I was at, they couldn't come back to the mainland. So we had people staying there. They had to stay for like 2 extra days. So we can listen to ourselves when we hear, well, don't go anywhere, stay home. If you had a plan on going on vacation, it says, don't go, it's a bad time, or you shouldn't. Listen to yourself.